All right, so where should you advertise? As mentioned, there is the online, which could be any social media like Facebook, Google, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, and then there is the offline, which could be things like the actual physical, like newspaper, mail outs. So these are like pamphlets that you'd get Australia Post to actually send out to your various to like people in a certain area. Then there could be things like radio ads, and TV ads as well. So these are kind of the main ways that, and as well, I guess billboards are another way. So these are all different ways that you can advertise, right? So the question is, where should you advertise? And really, where you want to advertise is going to be the place where your customers or your potential customers are hanging out. So a good way to think about it is, or question to ask yourself is, where do my potential customers actually hang out? Or where do they spend a lot of their time? Where do my potential customers spend their time? And maybe we could add in here, a lot of their time. So where do my potential customers spend their time a lot? This is something to ask yourself, because chances are that your potential customers, they're probably online a lot, and they're probably offline. They don't look at the newspapers. Most people don't read newspapers that much anymore. Most people throw out their mail or don't check it because they get so much junk mail. A lot of people don't even listen to the radio anymore, especially anyone who's 50 or younger, especially if they have kids, because if anyone has children, those children are going to be bringing all the technology to their parents. So, now all of the offline kind of world is being moved online. So it's not to say that you can't advertise offline. You can. It's just that you're not going to make as much on your investment. For example, you could spend $1,000 on, say, a newspaper ad, or even a magazine ad or something. Say you spend $1,000 on a magazine ad and you get 5 inquiries for whatever it is. It could, whatever number works for you, but you get the idea. So 5 inquiries for, say, a newspaper ad. If you put the same $1,000 into, say, Facebook and Google, say put $1,000 total, so say 500 in Facebook, 500 in Google, maybe you get 20 inquiries. So you get 4 times as many inquiries, because your potential customers spend their time there. Like, everyone is using, their phone all the time. Most people are not watching TV. Most people aren't paying attention to billboards. They're probably looking at their phone when they're at the traffic lights. That's just the way it is. So it's just a matter of kind of marrying together, like, where are your customers, and advertise there. And especially if you've had success in the past, because I talk to a lot of people that have had great success doing these offline methods of advertising, and they used to work great, except now people's attention is shifting. And now, instead of everyone's attention being on the radio, instead of having 1 million listeners, now there's 10,000. Or instead of everyone checking their mail because they're excited to read it, 30 or 40 years ago, it just wears out on people. Now, the only people who are reading newspapers are likely older people. And you can just see yourself, if you go into a newspaper, the classified ad section in a newspaper, compared to years ago, I remember probably 15 years ago, there was pages and pages filled with classified ads in the newspaper for all these different things. Now there's a fraction of that. And Facebook Marketplace, or Gumtree has taken over that particular area. And it's basically just thinking about where are you going to get more return back. Like if you put $1,000 here, you want to get more of it back in, you know, customers and sales. So that's the kind of the way to think about it. So where should you advertise? Predominantly online. That's what's working now. Offline used to be good. Now online is much better. You're going to get more bang for your buck advertising online. So now what we can do is actually break down some of these online platforms. We'll get rid of some of this and look at all of these, kind of like the pros and cons of each. Because really, if whatever advertising method you're using, the best way is a smart strategy that's online, something that's well thought out. Like it's not just like in a newspaper. If you were advertising a particular service, say you were advertising, you know, furniture removals in the newspaper, say 20 years ago, it's easy because you put it in the right category and lots of readers are reading the newspaper and they see it. Now you have to figure out where people are, so online somewhere, and then put an ad that is going to get their attention. And because everyone's online, you need to figure out who you're actually going to show it to, who you want to see the ad. Because obviously if you show your ad to people who have no interest in your service or product at all, in, you know, construction or contracting, whatever it is specifically for you, you're not going to make any money on it. So you have to show your ad to the right people, number one. And that's where we have a look at all the different pros and cons. So let's start out with, say, Facebook.